the only, the Palm Beaches. Plan your trip at thepalmbeaches.com.
Visit Miccosukee Casino and Resort, where fortune meets fun. With over 1,800 slot machines, high-stakes bingo, 24/7 poker, and exciting high-limit slots, there's something for everyone to enjoy. From luxurious accommodations and exquisite dining at La Brisa to live entertainment and handcrafted cocktails at Temp Lounge, we thank you for choosing us as the premier casino, resort, brunch, and date night spot in Miami. Reimagined, redesigned. Rediscover Miccosukee Casino and Resort online at miccosukee.com.
Step up to the plate with Terminix, the leader in pest protection for almost 100 years. We don't just hit home runs against termites. Since 1927, Terminix has defended homes and businesses nationwide from all kinds of pest curveballs. Trust Terminix to protect what matters most. Visit Terminix.com/Marlins to learn more. Because no one strikes out termites and pests like Terminix.
Number one on your car radio preset and the new and improved iHeartRadio app. WINCA Miami, WMIB FM HD2 Fort Lauderdale. Free never sounded so good. Thanks for listening to Miami Marlins Baseball. Marlins Baseball is brought to you by ADT, the official smart security partner of the Miami Marlins. And Norwegian Cruise Line. Experience more at sea. With the 10th Inning Show, here's the voice of the Marlins, Jack McMullen.
Well, the Marlins fall to the hosting Boston Red Sox on Saturday afternoon. Evening was a 4:10 start. 7-5 was the final score today. It was all Red Sox early, and then the Marlins, they made this thing really interesting late like they always do. These comeback kids, they plated 3 runs in the top of the 9th inning, but ultimately Aroldis Chapman came on, the possible future Hall of Fame closer. He got Javier Sanoja to bounce out to short, and that is how this ball game came to a close. It was a heck of an effort offensively for the Fish. Unfortunately, they were too far behind the 8 ball because a rut happened in the front half of the ball game. The Red Sox plated 2 in the first and 4 more in the third. That really kick-started things, and they plated their final run on an RBI single from Alex Bregman in the bottom of the 4th. Day to forget for Cal Quantrill. He struggled mightily today, 3 2/3, 7 earned runs. Brian Bayo on the other side was fantastic for the Red Sox. He threw into the 7th and allowed 2 runs on a pair of solo shots. It was Troy Johnston and his first career homer, and then Augustin Ramirez as well, homer number 18 for the Marlins rookie. So those are the big things from today. Also, credit to Tyler Zuber. Zuber did, I thought, a heck of a job in replacement of Cal Quantrill. Zuber went 2 1/3 innings of 2 punch-out, shutout ball, just 1 hit against him. But those are the main headlines. When we come back, we'll play the highlights here. 10th Inning Show continues next on the Marlins Radio Network. New York last week. He got the win and the payoff pitch. X hits one high in the air and deep, out to right. There's no doubt about this one. Homer number 2 on the year for X-Man, and Xavier Edwards did not miss a stitch. Who knew he had this in him? 104 off the bat, 402 feet out to right field, and a leadoff homer for power threat Edwards. Open scoring right away. Stowers at third, Otto at second. 2-2 to Jacob. On the way. And Marcy drills a ball out to right and deep. A line shot. Nearly gets to the concourse and gone. Out to right. He got a hanging sweeper and he did not miss it. Second homer of his career. Second homer against Gavin Williams in the first. And the Fish are pouring it on. 2-2. That one drilled again out to right and deep. That thing is gone. Marcy looks over to the first base dugout, pumps his fist, and now points towards the bullpen. Jacob Marcy, 3 for 3 with a pair of homers and tied no more. Gabby made a sign. 2-1. That one hit high in the air out to right center field, pretty deep. Schneemann is back at the track, at the wall, and it's gone. Graham Pauley, he's heating up with the power stroke. His 4th homer on the year and his 3rd homer of the week. Graham Pauley gives the Fish some breathing room with a solo blast. It's 7-4 Marlins in the top of the sixth. In every clubhouse. Now, 1-0 pitch. That one lined into center field. That is in for a base hit. X can practically walk home from third base. Kyle Stowers gets right. His first hit of the night is an RBI single, and it's another run. It's 8-4 Marlins in the top of the sixth.
Show on the Marlins Radio Network.
10th inning show rolls on. It was a 7-5 loss for the Fish at the hands of the Boston Red Sox on Saturday afternoon at Fenway Park in Boston, Massachusetts. Let's run you through the highlights here real quick. Scoring opened in the bottom of the first inning. Roman Anthony ripped a leadoff single. The Red Sox leadoff man hit it at 114 miles an hour. Trevor Story followed with a 2-out single. The cleanup man and the 5-hitting DH Masataka Yoshida opened it up. 3-1 pitch. That one a ground ball. That's past the dive of the second baseman Edwards. Right fielder Marcy is coming home with the throw. They're waving Story. The throw is a little bit up the first base line, but it seemed on target. Hicks went up the line to receive it, and those 2 steps allowed Story to score from second base. Yoshida pushes to second on the throw. It's a 2-run single. If Liam Hicks let that ball travel another 5 feet, I think they have Story out at the plate.
Yeah, I think.
Unfortunately, Liam Hicks came up that first base line. It would have plated the first run, but they could have had the inning ending out. Unfortunately, not the case. So it was 2-0 Boston. After 1, they continued their scoring in the bottom of the third. So leadoff double from Anthony, then a walk to Bregman, and Jaron Duran put a charge into 1. Next pitch, Duran drills out to right. Marcy on the move. He's chasing that back. That slams off the bullpen wall in right center. Duran pulls into second base. Anthony comes in to score. Bregman pushes first to third. That's an RBI double for Jaron Duran. He smoked that ball. 109 off the bat, and it's 3-0 Boston. They got 2 in scoring position, still nobody out. And then the big blow off the bat of the Red Sox shortstop, Trevor Story. 1-0 pitch. That one reached for and lifted high in the air out to left. Hernandez is back. He's looking up at the monster, and that is gone. It was a high arcing fly ball, and it sails over the top of that 37-foot wall. Trevor Story, just like he did in spring training, goes monster hunting, and he comes down with a big one. A 3-run shot, and this is a 4-run third. Still nobody out, and it's 6-0 Boston. To cap off the offensive output for the Red Sox today, it was Alex Bregman, their free agent acquisition, with an RBI single in the bottom of the fourth. That one lined up the gut. That is past the dive of the second baseman X into center for a base hit. Ground ball single up the middle from Alex Bregman. Plates Rafaela from third, and it's 7-0 Boston in the bottom of the fourth. So Bregman, again, made it 7-0, but the Marlins got on the scoreboard thanks to a career first for Troy Johnston. 3-2 pitch. Johnston rips high in the air, out to right and deep. Abreu is back. He's looking up, and it's gone. Troy Johnston, his first major league homer, gets the Marlins on the board. Here's to hoping somebody throws that baseball back at Fenway Park. It comes right back. Wilyer Abreu will fire it back in. That ball boy better not put it into the seats. It is the first major league homer for Troy Johnston, and it's 7-1. So that was the first big league homer for Troy Johnston, and pleased to report that that baseball made its way over to Troy. Augustin Ramirez, he capped the scoring against Brian Bayo in the 7th with a homer of his own. 2-1 pitch. Augustine hits one high in the air, out to left and deep. That is monster bound and gone. That went over the monster and over the El Tiante heart. Augustin Ramirez with a monster blast. It's homer number 18 on the year. The second homer for the Fish. It's 7-2 Red Sox in the top of the 7th. Then the comeback was on in the 9th. It started because of Heriberto Hernandez. 2-2. That one a line shot that's over the head of Romy Gonzalez down the right field line for a base hit. It's going to plate another. Augustine comes in. The throw went to first base. Hernandez was off the first base bag. If Gonzalez gloved it cleanly, he would have tagged Hernandez out to end the game, but it did get away, and the catcher, Connor Wong, was there to back it up. So Heriberto at first, he's got the RBI knock, and it's a 4-run game, 7-3 in the top of the ninth. Then to make it even closer, how about Wagatak? 1-0. Wagaman lifts that high in the air, out to left center field. Duran on the move, back to the track, at the wall. He leaps up, and it's off the monster. Karam's into center. Wagaman around second. He's headed to third. Relay throw held by the shortstop Story. Hernandez comes in to score from first base, and Eric Wagaman has an RBI triple. It's a 3-run game. It's 7-4, the Red Sox in front, but the Marlins are putting together a bit of a 2-out rally here. And then a hitter later, Derek Hill made this thing awfully tight. First pitch. Hill loops one past the outstretched glove of Romy Gonzalez into right for a base hit. Wagaman comes in to score. Derek Hill with an RBI knock. And all of a sudden, the tying run is coming to the plate. It's 7-5 Boston in the top of the ninth with still 2 men gone. Felt the heat. He turned to his possible future Hall of Fame closer in Aroldis Chapman. He faced Javier Sanoja, and that is how the ball game came to a close. 1-2. That one a bouncing ball over to short. Story comes around it. He fires on the run. It's on target, and it's in time. Aroldis Chapman comes on. He gets Javier Sanoja to bounce out to short, and this ball game is over. The Marlins made it oh so tight at the end, but ultimately they end up falling by 2. Final score at Fenway on Saturday afternoon. The Boston Red Sox 7, the Miami Marlins 5. That's how this one sounded. When we come back, we'll hear from the skipper, Clayton McCullough. 10th Inning Show continues next on the Marlins Radio Network.
You needed some more production, and then you turned it into guys who are going to be now producing when you need them to.
1-0 pitch. Augustine lines into right field. That's in on a hop for a base hit. X rounding third. He's coming home. White's throw going to the plate. A little bit offline and just a touch late. And X comes in to score, standing up from second. With 2 men gone, it's an RBI single for Augustine Ramirez, and the Marlins on the board again. It's 6-2 in the top of the 4th. Opposite of Texas's concern with him. They thought that he was going to be in an insane amount of pain.
Yeah.
Pitch to X. That one stung. Past the dive of the second baseman. Albies into right center for a base hit. Myers will score from second base, no problem. And Xavier Edwards got to 300 last AB. This time he pushes to 301. Afternoon, getaway day at 1:35. Jen Powell calls balls and strikes. 3-1. That one sprayed into left field, down the line. Long run for Profar. He's still moving. That drops in. It's a fair ball. Hernandez was drifting towards third. Now he gets the run around home, and the throw coming home is late. That was a line hunter. Profar is explaining to the third base umpire, Chris Guccione, that he thought it bounced to the right of the chalk, or the left of the chalk, I should say. Yesterday has hit the skids a bit for his last few games. And the 1-2, that one cracked into right center. That is in for a base hit. That's going to keep on rolling for a while. Marcy around third. He comes in to score, and that's Major League RBI number 2 on hit number 3 from Troy Johnston. Stretching Cappy maybe 10 pitches further than you would if you were on 4. 0-1. Hernandez lifts that one high in the air, out to left and deep. Profar is back at the track. It is gone. Into the Marlins bullpen. Big Bert again, his 7th home run of the season, and it's a 2-run shot, 5-0 Fish in the top of the 5th.
De datos y los ahorros reales varían.
All right, 10th Inning Show rolls on here on the Marlins Radio Network. The Marlins fall 7-5 to the Boston Red Sox. Let's hear from the skipper, Clayton McCullough, after this one.
Clayton, just late in the game offensively, how did you see your team battle and maybe create some offense late?
Yeah, great fight. It was not only going to say an encouraging sign, because I think that's just what these guys have shown throughout this entirety of the season, is that they don't give in. They, appreciate that every at bat and going to fight till the last out is made. And great to see us today finish the way we did, and having the tie and run at the plate, and them having to get Chapman in the game there. So disappointing that we weren't able to come through with the win today, but very proud of how our guys continued, both on the mound and at the plate to, continue to play this one out.
How do you assess with Cal tonight?
Yeah, I think with Cal, it was we just had some trouble finishing some hitters and probably some locations that weren't as conducive. Unfortunate. Sometimes playing here that the home run to left. It's a part of playing in this ballpark, and stinks when it happens. So I think just that one inning there just made some mistakes, and they did a good job of just continuing to run out their ABs and put some good swings on with some runners in scoring position, and that kind of was the story today there in the early going.
How important was it to get Simpson back out there after last night?
Yeah, great for Josh. I'm really, really proud of him. How came right back today, and not only to give us a couple innings, with where we were and put us in a good spot moving forward, but it's for him. You get right back on the horse and you go out there, and thought he filled up the zone much better today, and really terrific 2 outings. And again, he'll take every experience that he's gaining right now, but this is just another one that he can put the other day behind him and just continue to go on and pitch like he did today.
What was Bayo doing so good, and then after he came out, do you see any difference in the approach for the guys, pitching the relievers, or what was it there?
Well, I mean, Bayo's got really good stuff, and I think even like maybe the first few innings, the ball has a lot of movement, but we expanded some early outs maybe on pitches that were going to be tough to do a lot of damage with. But credit to him, he was throwing the ball very well and got into a good rhythm. He had a lead, was able to pitch downhill some, but I think at least to be able to finish the way we did was good for our club.
Johnston gets his first career homer. Just how that moment for him, and just how his at-bats have looked so far.
I think great moment for him. First homer. Do it here, and then I think his at-bats have been better. And I think what I've seen is just he's calmed down some. I think seeing him take a lot more pitches and get himself into at-bats. He was able to do that today. Nice single to left field, in the first at-bat, and then to run another strong at bat and homer the way he did. So, now once Troy is, he's got some at bats under his belt, you take a deep breath and you just go up there and, let the game come to you, work an at bat. And, I think we're seeing that trend, in a good direction.
Any further update on Kyle?
Yeah, Kyle was seen today during the game. Grade one strain. He's going to go on the IL. Going to be several weeks. Not sure the full extent of the timeline, but it's going to be an IL placement for Kyle.
I apologize if this passed already, but local guy Josh Simpson just going to get back.
For the club and
I think
just in general.
Yeah, anytime you get some news like that, when someone who's been such a key contributor for us is going to have to miss any amount of time, and for Kyle, he's having such a great year. But I think injuries are an unfortunate part of our sport, and no one's going to feel sorry for us as we get going, moving along. So we still have a very tough, resilient crew and a talented crew in there, and we'll just come out and just keep moving along.
Yeah, that's a dagger, man.
Tough.
Okay. Yep.
Tough.
All right. So you heard it from Clayton McCullough, grade 1 left side strain for Kyle Stowers, who will be on the IL and will miss several weeks. 7-5, the Marlins fall to the Boston Red Sox on Saturday afternoon. We will step aside. Steven will share his thoughts, and we will say see ya. 10th Inning Show concludes next on the Marlins Radio Network. 33% of the way there.
That's Hall of Famer.
Hit 333. 1-0 pitch. That one looped into shallow left field. Profar coming on. He won't get there. That drops in for a base hit. Hicks going to come in and score. Otto pushes to third. And Jacob Marcy drives in his 4th run at the major league level. This guy's 8 for 17 to open his big league career. And an RBI knock gets the fish on the board. They trail 2-1 at the top of the second. In the lead. 1-2. That one hit in the air, out to right center. That's deep, that's carrying well. Harris is back at the track. He leaps up, he opens the bullpen door, and that's off the wall. It caroms back into center. Wagaman pushes to third, and 2 runs come in to score. A 2-run triple for Wag Attack. Braves of yesteryear.
No.
3-2. That one hit well, out to right and deep, down the line. White on the move, he's looking up, and it's gone. into the chop house. Graham Pauley, back-to-back days with a homer. He's got 3 now as a Marlin, and this is a 5-run second. 2-run blast. 5-2 Fish.
You needed some more production, and then you turned it into guys who are going to be now producing when you need them to.
1-0 pitch. Augustine lines into right field. That's in on a hop for a base hit. X rounding third. He's coming home. White's throw going to the plate. A little bit offline and just a touch late. And X comes in to score, standing up from second. With 2 men gone, it's an RBI single for Augustine Ramirez, and the Marlins on the board again. It's 6-2 in the top of the 4th.
Trying to win it all again. Posada, slow roller right side. Beckett picks it up, tags Posada, and the Florida Marlins are world champions. The Marlins have stunned the Yankees, shocked New York, and this improbable team, improbable ride.
All right, the Marlins fall 7-5 to the Boston Red Sox on Saturday afternoon. It's all clouded. Kyle Stowers hitting the IL. He will be out several weeks with a grade 1 strain on his left side. Steven Strum, where do you want to go with this one?
Yeah, I mean, I had a couple of things, but the story is Kyle Stowers tonight. Really unfortunate, really disappointing. There's only so many synonyms that I can try to match to a gut punch.
Yeah.
Kyle Stowers was and is the heart and pulse of this team, this franchise right now. 25 home runs, and it goes beyond the numbers, Jack. We mentioned it during the game, what it looks like when the Marlins win, what his numbers look like versus when they lose. You felt his absence today, and he is someone in that clubhouse that is revered, and a lot of guys look up to him. He's still going to be around, but this really hurts, man. This really hurts that he's going to be sidelined for what Clayton McCullough said today, several weeks. And, there's only 39 games left, so you do the math and you'll see, I guess, hopefully we see him at the end, but you kind of get to the point where I think if you're Marlins brass, what Kyle Stowers has proven that he is going to be a franchise player for you. I don't know what else is, there is to prove. So we'll see what that rehab process looks like. And looking ahead, the next viable option, I think, would be Joey Wiemer, who the Marlins were able to acquire.
Yeah.
He's down in AAA right now, 26 years old. He's hit 375 with a couple of home runs, 10 RBIs in 9 games. I think he's probably the most likely option here, Jack. But before I move on to someone like Joey Wiemer, just really stinks to see Kyle go to the IL.
Yeah, 100%. Kyle has been, he's been so darn good all season long. He was the Marlins All-Star representative, deservedly so. This guy has just been amazing. And you mentioned the heartbeat of this team, and you got to try and fill that production. You won't fill that offensive production because that guy is one of the 10 best hitters in Major League Baseball this year. But you're going to try and recreate it in the aggregate. But Joey Wiemer, he was the International League Player of the Week 2 weeks ago. Swinging a hot bat right now with the Jumbo Shrimp. So maybe Wiemer, and we have no idea if it's Wiemer or if it's somebody else to come up. But we will see what the move is going into tomorrow.
Yeah. And just unfortunate these last couple of weeks is, baseball is a crazy game sometimes, Jack. You could feel like you're on top of the mountaintop with the sweep of the New York Yankees and feeling like, oh, geez, we got a chance here. We're a couple of games out of a wild card spot, and it can change really quick. Houston to, the 3-city road trip to Atlanta and Cleveland, and just things can change very quickly. Things can snowball very quickly. And, for Kyle Stowers, the guy still ends up with a couple of doubles yesterday. You're not thinking anything of it. Yeah. And all of a sudden he's out of the lineup, and you blink and his season is, for the most part, again, out several weeks. We can't tell you if he's going to come back at the end of September. We just know we have 39 games left. You assume he's got to go to, rehab, make sure obliques have a mind of its own, and he's going to have to go to rehab assignments. So who knows when he does come back. If this is it for Kyle Stowers, man, tip of the cap, incredible 2025. He answered so many questions, and I can confidently say the Marlins have a franchise player moving forward in 2026.
100%. Again, final score today, 7-5. The Marlins fall to the Red Sox. Back in action tomorrow at 1:35. It'll be Jansen Junk against Garrett Crochet. 1:35 first pitch. Stephen Hitz here with Marlins on deck at 1 o'clock. Huge thank you to Ahmed Jordan in studio. For Stephen, for Gabby, I'm Jack saying so long from Fenway Park. This has been a presentation of Miami Marlins baseball on the Marlins Radio Network.
#1 on your car radio preset.